Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer Henczel.
And I'm Paul Henczel.
Today we're going to be talking to you about storytelling and preparing a signature talk for a podcast or the stage.
Welcome to The Inspiring Show with Paul and Jennifer Henczel, featuring inspiring interviews with thought leaders, storytellers, entrepreneurs, influencers, and legacy builders just like you. Learn from experts about finding your voice, mastering your mindset, and creating movements with your message. Tap into timeless wisdom and today's top strategies for transcending to new levels of success, happiness, and joy.
Thank you so much for being here. We so appreciate all of the positive feedback we've received on our first 2 episodes. We told you our core story that started this journey. We had some people ask, how did we meet?
Yes, we've known each other since we were kids. I grew up on 179 Street.
And I grew up on 179A Street. And I was really good friends and graduated with Paul's brother. Our sisters were really good friends. They're still besties to this day. Your younger brother used to deliver papers to our house. Okay, here's the dirt. So your younger brother had a crush on my sister.
Yeah.
And I think your older brother, it's fair to say at this point that he sort of had a crush on me.
He definitely had a crush on you.
Okay. And both my sister and I had a crush on you.
Winner.
So I won that one. But Paul and my sister are really good friends as well. So our families hung out together and we had a lot of fun times. But when we got older, we kind of went our separate ways. And then we ran into each other again.
Yes, we did.
And the fireworks happened.
Because I always had a crush on Jennifer.
So then we got together, started dating, and you proposed to me on Christmas.
Christmas Day, yes. I wrapped a ring on a teddy bear in a small box, then put that in a bigger box, which went in a bigger box, which went in a giant box.
Yes.
Now, I am a huge Raiders fan.
We got married in Oakland, Alameda Coliseum in California on the 50-yard line.
I was wearing a black jersey.
I was wearing a white jersey. The whole trip was so much fun.
It was. I loved it. Now we've been happily married for 22 years.
Very happily. All right, so that's a little bit about us. And today we're talking about storytelling and preparing a signature talk for a podcast or the stage for 2 reasons today, to give you a better idea of what's to come on the show.
Yes, we have some great interviews coming up.
We also want to give you the tools and resources we've used for both of our speaking careers. Now, my background is in training, and I've been doing that for many years. But speaking for podcasts and on the stage and webinars and things like that is a totally different thing. And Paul is brand new to this, and so he had to learn as well. But the template and structure we have for you today works whether you've been speaking in some capacity for a long time or you're brand new. We created a worksheet for you that you can download in the show notes for free, and it outlines the structure we use for any talk.
It's very easy to remember. Our technique is called Story, Teach, Tool.
We're going to go through each section with you, so let's start with story.
Here are a few things that can help you develop your story. Now, stories help to draw people in and build a connection with your listeners and clients. Stories are what I call connection magic. Any talk is better with a good story. I want to tell you about the 3 themes that we've identified and that we will be featuring in this podcast. These follow the hero's journey. The first one is overcoming adversity, like my story. Now, moving from tragedy to triumph is the focus of the Overcoming Adversity story. The stories of struggles and challenges are the stories that need to be told. Be honest about your obstacles and how you overcame adversity. Making the decision to overcome shows the hope and possibilities in a situation. Even when things seem lost, change happens that can make life even better and more fulfilling. This story immediately rings true for the listener because they are authentic. Everyone experiences obstacles and loss. They are a part of life. Now, hearing how others have risen above is inspirational and reminds us that we are not alone, because everyone can relate to experiencing challenges. The situations we have gone through to get here may be different, but there are similarities in each of our stories that we can draw from. You have no idea who you can help with your story. The next one is astounding achievement. In the astounding achievement story, you have experienced success. At the core of every achievement, there is an awareness of the difficulties that are present and having the confidence, persistence, and patience to realize your goals. With this story, you may have tried something and failed. However, you learned from what went wrong, and that experience taught you the right way. You might have lost something, but then came out gaining even more. Perhaps somewhere along the way, you discovered your vision or a key idea that led to your success or achievement. The last story theme I want to mention is amazing adventure. The amazing adventure story includes an exciting or unusual experience. It may also be bold, involves some risk, and has an uncertain outcome. For some people, adventure leads to amazing feats of mental or physical strength, endurance, or creativity. This adventure may have resulted in a discovery that inspired you to develop a particular product or service. Adventures can be major life undertakings that led you to that aha moment. This is a story that may include venturing away from home geographically or outside your comfort zone psychologically. Adventurous stories are exhilarating for the listener and can make us feel a part of something bigger. So these are what we call the 3 A's of storytelling: adversity, achievement, and adventure. In this podcast, we're looking to interview people with inspiring stories that fall into these 3 themes. Now, I also want to mention that when developing your signature story, you do not have to restrict yourself to only one story theme, because most great stories combine elements of a few. Now, have you ever heard a great storyteller and told yourself you wanted to do that? To be able to keep people on the edge of their seats. But maybe you thought that you don't have a good story. Well, something that you might not think is good could be exciting to someone else, because others see your story from a different perspective. You have no idea who you can help with your story, and you really won't know unless you share what you have to say. I also want to dispel the myth that you have to be naturally social or outgoing to share your story. You don't. You just have to be passionate in what you do and who you are.
The next section you'll see on your worksheet is teach.
Now, there are 2 ways to share the knowledge you have. You can push the information out, or you can pull people in with a story. I encourage and challenge you to be creative. Incorporate different forms of story into your learning. When teaching others, be engaging and participatory. Also, incorporate the different learning styles into your learning: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Knowing your audience and understanding their mindset can also help you to be more engaging. Here are some questions you can ask to reveal this information. What problems or challenges does your audience face? What motivates them? And what are their beliefs and ideas?
You also need to know what result is your audience seeking? What outcomes do they want to achieve? What is the objective of your learning points? You also need to know what level of knowledge they have. So are they beginner, intermediate, or advanced? And I'm going to put a link in the show notes to Bloom's taxonomy that explains that in more detail, to know what level your audience is at and to produce materials that fit that level. I have my provincial instructor's diploma, and I'm trained in how to create training materials and curriculum for adult learning. And so I'll provide some links in the show notes.
Now, stories will help establish your expertise on a subject and as a leader. Now, here are a few ways you can bring inspiration to your stories and teaching points. Be you. Be original. Share from your own true experiences. Inspiration comes from you, your stories, and how you frame things. Be passionate in who you are and what you do. Be vulnerable. Vulnerability shows you are real and authentic. Also, use emotion in your story. Be a model, a good example, someone worth emulating. Be positive. Now, this is the primary goal because being positive inspires positivity in others. Be encouraging. Encouragement fosters confidence. Be caring, ask questions, and take an interest in people. Inspire others to see a new change in themselves. Now, inspirational stories follow the conflict to resolution plot arc, which is always inspiring to the listener.
Metaphors are another great way to bring variety to a topic. In future podcasts, we'll dive into other story types like metaphors, humor, and manifestos to enhance your stories and learning points. But for now, let's move to the third part, tool. This section includes any tools, resources, gifts, and soft offerings that you want to provide to the audience. Remember, it's about leaving people wanting more. If your stories and teachings are compelling, then the audience will want to connect with you further. You need to have a very clear and concrete way for people to get to know you more. Offer something to entice them onto your list or into your group. For example, you can offer a gift like a complimentary download, such as a worksheet, a template, a checklist, a guide, a report, a webinar, a mini course, a challenge, or a discovery call. Paul even gives away digital copies of his book for some audiences. All these things could be set up as lead generators so you can grow a relationship with your audience. For podcasts or talks, you should offer free or low-cost gifts. Then, as people become part of your community, you can offer your higher ticket products and programs. Those are the three main sections: story, teach, tool. And I also want to talk to you about conciseness. Conciseness is when you focus on one thing in your talk. You'll get better results because if you have too many things, your message will become diluted and it's not understandable. So for example, I'll get applications where people say, oh, I can talk about this, that, and this. And it's too many things. I'm not interested in writing your story for you. So make sure you have a really good title, a good description, and you're really focused and you really know what you want to talk about when you're submitting applications for speaking at conferences or talks or for being on podcasts or online summits and things like that. You really need to have a very specific topic and have your content concise.
Now, I cannot stress enough how important it is to keep your stories simple for your listener. So be concise. Now, I had to learn this as well when I developed the different lengths of my talk. So use shorter sentences, 10 to 13 words. Use shorter words. Don't use a 3 or 4 syllable word when you can use one with 2 syllables. And keep your audience compelled and engaged. They do not need to hear every detail, just the most important ones.
When you have a talk that's based around one topic and you have a focus and clarity around that topic and you're very concise, that's what people are looking for when they're booking speakers. I ran a network for many years. I planned and promoted over 500 events and I would book speakers. And what I was looking for is speakers that had all of that in order. They knew exactly what they were going to speak on. And also you need to be able to speak on the exact length that the people are requesting. So if someone needs a 5-minute talk, a 10-minute talk, a 20-minute talk, 30 minutes, or 45 minutes, you need to have a talk specifically that length. So if you want to know how to make your talk longer or shorter, when you take a look at the template, the Story Teach tool, the story can be, you might have a short and long version of your story, but really the area that's going to expand or contract is the teach section. So you can really expand on your learning points or make them very short and concise for a shorter talk.
Now, we have been to events and conferences, and we've heard some people with amazing stories, but they go into too many details and they lose the audience. So it is so important to structure your story in a way that's going to keep your listeners compelled and engaged.
And then there's other people that only have a couple minutes to tell a story, and it's so compelling and inspiring, right?
Exactly.
So you might have an excellent story, but you might need to spend a little more time developing it. And that's why we want to provide the sheet for you today to download. So you can download our Story Teach Tool worksheet in the show notes at inspiringshow.com.
So thanks everyone for listening. And until next time, remember, you have a story and your story matters.